Oh, man. Kelley. Wow. So this is the Savoir Faire Cigar Lounge. You gotta show me around. I need to really get the vibes and feel what's going on up in here, all right?
I'm gonna set you up.
Okay.
I'm gonna cut it for you.
That's why I'm here. Listen, guys, education is key. I'm being educated on cigars today. Kelley is an amazing, what is it? Cigarista? Cigarista. Hey, Kelley, first of all, thank you for inviting me here. This is absolutely just beyond my wildest beliefs of what you have going on here. The Savoir Faire Mobile Cigar Lounge. Savoir Faire, like it has this elegance to it. Talk to me about how that became the name of your business.
I feel like it is a culmination of my life's path. Savoir Faire actually means speaking appropriately in the appropriate social settings, right? So there needs to be a place where they can come and relax, you know, have privacy and just kick back. My journey has been vast. I started off as a police officer. I was an NYPD detective and I was an undercover.
Really?
So, yes. Really? So, kind of had one foot in the boardroom and one foot in the hood. Yeah, so.
Best of both worlds.
Yes.
NYPD, undercover. How did we get to the next phase? So then after that, we had a security detail business?
Well, there was a little stop in between there.
Okay.
So I got punched in the jaw. I did not like the way that felt.
Yeah.
So I decided to go to law school.
Okay.
So I put myself through law school at night. But during the 15-year tenure that I had with NYPD, one day out of every year, I worked for the National Basketball Association doing the NBA draft. Okay. And so just as I was about to graduate from law school, I worked the draft and I met the head of human resources. And he came over, he said, a little birdie tells me that you're in law school. I said, well, that's partially correct. I'm about to walk. He says, do you have a resume? And I said, cops don't have resumes.
Right.
So he said, well, why don't you put something together? And, you know, we have a job that I think would fit you. And 7 interviews later, the last one culminating with David Stern, I was offered a job as a security director at the NBA.
I love it. I love it. So this led into the next phase.
Right. When I was working at the NBA, I was in charge of the security for the Fan Fest, and we had All-Star in Houston, Texas. And I went down and I had to address other law enforcement officers about the All-Star game and about the Fan Fest. And I was one, honestly, of 3 black people in the room. Fast forward that summer, I went to New Orleans to Essence Fest, and I stopped inside of a cigar lounge, which I often do. And a gentleman came in and he said, I think I know you. And I said, well, where are you from? He said, Houston. And I said, I'm from New York. And then he said, are you law enforcement? And I said, yeah. He said, you stood up and you spoke at a meeting that I was in. And so we began a friendship.
You made that impression?
Yeah, we began a friendship. So this was his lounge.
Okay.
It was his lounge. And so we were talking and he said that he thought he was gonna have to sell it, you know, with the government shutdown. And so I said, are you serious? He said, yeah. And I said, would you sell it to me? And he said, yeah. So I jumped on the plane back to New York and wired him earnest money before he changed his mind.
Nice, yeah, that's how you do it. Listen, this business, it's very innovative. It's genius. Like when I saw it aesthetically, how pleasing it was. And then we just think about the possibilities and they're endless.
Yeah.
Like this is for everybody.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't consider myself a connoisseur, but you know what I mean? Like just a chill atmosphere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just to wind down. So I kind of want to talk about like that vision. Like how, when you were saying, okay, I need to buy this. You did it. Talk to me about your vision behind it. What did you see Savoir Faire becoming? Was that name already?
No, it wasn't. No, that was my choosing. Honestly, when I first imagined this, I thought about privacy. You know, being around the players as much as I was and watching people put cameras in their faces and things like that. My first thought was there needs to be a place where they can come and relax.
Yeah. Talk to me.
We have our wine refrigerator here.
Okay.
We have a wine refrigerator. We have a little bar. We have a bar. It's not little, but we have a bar.
We doing everything big around here.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have our cigar humidor.
Okay. For people that are not fluent, what is a humidor?
Humidor is a refrigerator for cigars to keep them moist and keep them fresh. Here we have our cigar menu.
Okay.
It changes, it fluctuates depending upon the client, but
classy, luxury, yes. Mild to mild, medium full. All right. I need to understand this a little bit more. So this is why you're here. This is why we're here.
But we have all the flavored cigars on this side.
I see that.
And then it runs from mild to full. So if you're just starting out, probably want to start with a medium, mild. And I'm thinking, are you a tequila man?
I am.
I'm thinking we'll get you a tequila cigar.
Okay.
How about that?
Yeah. Oh, so this is the humidor.
Yes.
All right. It's my first time with that.
Okay. So I'm gonna set you up.
Okay.
I'm gonna cut it for you. And
That's why I'm here. All right. So talk to me about how does this work? Like, let's say I wanted to, hey, Kelley, I want to book this from our event. How does it work in terms of the business side of it from a consumer perspective?
Okay, well, each event is curated, so each event is different.
Yep.
I would do an intake and find out what it is you want. You can rent just the lounge, or I can stock the lounge with your favorite cigars. I can stock the lounge with your favorite alcohol, whatever it is that you want. We discuss it so that your vision comes alive just the way you want it.
So it's tailor-made around the specific consumer at that point. I love that. I love that. What's the furthest you've ever taken this so far?
Hasn't been too far.
Okay.
I'm willing to travel.
Okay.
I'm willing to travel. That's what our visa for.
Yeah.
But it hasn't really been too far. Generally, the tri-state area.
Yeah.
New York, New Jersey, Connecticut.
But we're willing to make that happen.
We will. Yep.
I love that. Okay. You said this is tequila?
That's tequila. That's tequila dipped. Right.
Tastes good.
So when you're starting out, it's a little intimidating sometimes, that full body.
Okay.
Yeah, and just so you know, just like the clip is preferential to the smoker, so is the length of the ash.
Really?
Sometimes we let the ash go until, the longer the ash, the more experienced you look, actually.
Get out of here.
It's a thing.
Oh, man, we getting a full course here, guys.
One of the things that I didn't realize is that I was going to be everything. I was going to be the marketing director.
Yeah.
I was going to be the salesperson. I was going to, it's just everything.
Yes.
And I tried not to make an owner-centric business, but that's what this is because it's an extension of me.
Do you think faceless businesses are done?
I do. Because with social media, if you're not out there, people don't know you exist, and they won't patronize you. So it's thrust me into a space that I didn't necessarily feel comfortable entering, but it's part of the business.
You gotta embrace the uncomfortable
to
get where you gotta go next. I love that. Listen, guys, that's a bar. If you're going to learn something about entrepreneurship, uncomfortability is important, and what you said is even more important. A lot of people like to, I want the entrepreneurial journey, I want the journey, but not realizing what it actually takes. The hours, the handling everything on your own. And how do you feel like that has now helped you grow a little bit more?
Oh, absolutely. I love a challenge, so I'm never going to quit. So I've just had to learn how to put processes in place. It was getting to the location, setting up, and then being so tired after hours and hours of socializing, just breaking things down. But I realized I'm making a mess for myself. I don't know where I'm putting things. So if I start being a little more organized, the next day will run smoother. So it's taken a little bit of time, but now it's a little smoother.
If you can look ahead, what type of legacy would you want Savoir Faire to leave? And I'm not just speaking from the entrepreneurial standpoint, I'm talking about in the Black culture. What type of legacy do you think, or would you like to leave with this imprint?
I would like people to think of upscale luxury. I would like for people to know that they deserve upscale luxury. And I would hope that my name, Cigar Savoir Faire, is synonymous with bringing luxury to people in our community who maybe have not had the experiences that I've had, but I'd like to leave pieces of that with them.
So Kelley, what do you think, like, some advice that you would provide like young entrepreneurs who are just kind of going into their journey, but not in a non-traditional space, that maybe not have the, you know, the background history, maybe the proper schooling and stuff like that? What advice do you think you'll have for them?
I would say, get out there and do it. It's never going to be perfect. And if you're not recreating the wheel, study someone who has been successful at it. Learn from their mistakes.
Now that's a cool fact.
But I think the biggest thing is people waiting until the perfect time. And there is no perfect time.
Nah, there isn't. Get out there, and that's your experience. You're learning.
Correct.
You're failing, then you're getting it right.
Correct.
I love that. Yeah. Yes. Kelley, amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.